Get caught in a net with Annette. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with Annette. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with Annette.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your hosts, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey guys, welcome to another wonderful segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I am your host, Annette Harris. Thank you so much in advance for watching and or listening to us on today. Listen, I am here live on my Facebook page, Annette, Get Caught in a Net. And then also the wonderful Earl Winfrey of Intellectual Radio is he has us actually on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So if you go to Get Caught in the Net Incorporated, you should hear us live there as well. I'm also here on my Instagram page, Get Caught in the Net. So there are a few different ways that you can listen and or watch us on today. And when you come in, I'm going to ask you to be kind and go ahead and click that share button for us. But before I go further, I must acknowledge the Lord. Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day that you've blessed us to see. We thank you that you have brought us down through this year. We are at the end of another year, oh God, another season of this broadcast. And we ask that you would do nothing short of getting the glory of what we go to say and do on this day. Bless my guests on today. And we pray that everyone will be blessed in Jesus' name. And the opening scripture, I normally like to quote the first part of Hosea 4:6, and it states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And I always like to say that we don't want to be rejected by the Lord. We want to attain as much knowledge that we can while we're here in this present world. So I am grateful to be here. You see, on here with me at this 12 o'clock hour, my first guest. I am excited. I really just formally met her on yesterday, but I have been having conversations with her mother and Regina. I hope I pronounced that right. And I met back in October. My computer has just done something really crazy. So if you guys can still see me, that's cool. I'm doing
Yeah.
something, try and get it back together. Callie, are you able to see me?
I can see your profile picture, but I can't see you.
Okay, we're gonna see what's going on here. My goodness. All right, you can still see
Okay.
me.
Yes, I can see you.
So you were on there. All right, so I don't know what's happening here, and I am going to, we'll be okay. Here, let's move this back down here so Instagram can see. Instagram, sorry about that. Uh, Facebook, sorry about that. But we are here. Technical difficulties. I mean, and I shouldn't be surprised. I just got through saying we came down through this whole year. I took on a whole different hat when we went into quarantine and producing on my own on this end, and then also intellectual radio, where Mind, Body, and Soul is housed, actually helps us over on the YouTube side. So I'm going to read a little bit of this bio that I have of Callie. Did I pronounce it right?
Calais.
Calais. See, that's why I said I did not want to mispronounce. Calais. All right. It's beautiful though. I told you that yesterday. Calais Clark is a freshman at Brantley University in Peoria, Illinois. She is the founder of the Teen Creative Conference, guys. And this conference is one that inspires teenagers across the world by displaying creative talents while encouraging the viewers to pursue their talents as a career. This year's theme is Know Your Roots. All right. I like that. This idea was inspired by this past year's protests and group leadership. People across the world were able to inspire change through their movements while also acknowledging and learning the history of their specific group, whether it's through ethnicity, race, or gender identity. The Teen Creative Conference includes teen participants showcasing their talent. Adults in the creative field provide a masterclass session on their specific career, interactive activities, and breakout sessions. Half of the earnings from this conference will be donated to the Oak Park River Forest High School Spoken Word Club. In the 2021 edition, there will be an in-person after party to bring in the new year. Okay. While creating the conference is one of the major activities Calais does, she also works as a student supervisor in the dining hall of her college. One of her favorite hobbies is writing poetry, which she discovered her passion while in the spoken word club at her high school, and that is the incentive for creating the fun. This is wonderful. So again, welcome, Ms. Clark, to my show on this afternoon. And I'm so glad you're here. I can already tell that she is an ambitious young woman, and I love to see that. I love to see that, and I love to push and promote our young people. I see you guys coming in. I'm just going to call out a few names before we get going. I see you, Auntie Sand, Crystal, Garrison Cooper. How are you, friend? I see Elder McGee is on. I see Apostles Sabrina. Is this Stafford? Stafford? Demerit?
Stafford Demerit, yeah.
You see, I'm going to hesitate before I say something. Terry is on. Thank you so much for coming in. Regina did make it. Thank you. Monica is here as well. And there were some other names that I saw. And as we go on, we will acknowledge and interact with those here on Facebook and also on YouTube. I'll make sure I check YouTube as well and Instagram. So thank you all for coming in. If you didn't hear me, please make sure that you click that share button, click the share button for me. It costs you nothing. I always say it costs you nothing. Down at the bottom, click the share button. That way you'll push this live feed out and others will get a chance to be introduced to Ms. Clark and learn who she is and about this wonderful conference, which actually starts tomorrow. Is that right?
Yes.
So it's tomorrow and Friday. So we're here at a good time so we can kind of push and promote this and talk about what it is we're doing. And I just thank you again for joining me in my last session of the year to have this discussion. So even though I read a little bit about you from what has been submitted, can you talk to us about who you are first and foremost, and then we kind of segue into talking about your conference?
Okay, well, first, I want to thank you for having me on your show. I'm really excited. And a little bit about me is I have been playing the violin for about 13 years now. So I've been playing it since I was 5. So that's really where I started my creative journey in a sense. And then through middle school, I did theater. So we did like Mary Poppins. We had different, like Bravo was the name of it. And then as I got into high school, I tried to continue theater, and then I found my passion for spoken word. And that really came from the Oak Park River Forest High School Spoken Word Club. I started my freshman year, and then after 3 showcases, you can become a co-captain and then eventually become a captain of your own group. And that's just being responsible for people and their poems, getting the movements, getting the performance ready for the audience. So yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of like well-rounded there. Very impressive. You said the violin, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I have a nephew who is definitely well, I don't know if he's picked up the violin in years, but he was definitely into it. Spoken word, you grabbed the attention of Elder Kevin McGee. He is a spoken word artist, but he is an elder, a pastor of a church. But that is his passion, and he actually, I wish he had a did one for us on today, but he normally pins a spoken word relative to the topic of the day on my show. Hint, hint, you haven't done one in a while, Elder McGee, but he actually put a comment on here. He says, "Woohoo, spoken word club." So he's giving you a shout out there. But this is tremendous. I have found that a lot of times our young people, millennials, Generation Z, however whatever label, it seems like a lot of them kind of migrate more so towards spoken word. And then there are other aspects of it. But the spoken word, I've seen that it seemed like enhanced probably, well, maybe in the last 8 years since I've had this broadcast. Seem like it has become more and more of a thing. I don't know if that's minimizing it or not. I'm not trying to, but it seems that is where that they can voice their opinions. They can have a voice. They can express themselves, and it seems like that is maybe more like the easiest way to do it. Would you kind of agree with that, or what do you think?
Yes. So when I first started doing spoken word, I wasn't a shy person, but I wasn't as confident as I am now. So without spoken word, I wouldn't be able to be talking like this and have like forming sentences. So along with building confidence, it also just builds a community. Like you're building confidence with other people. Like we all started just not knowing what to do or what to say, and spoken word gives the confidence, gives the comfortability to be in front of an audience. And also just you're performing your own piece. So again, back to the confidence, you are being confident in who you are and where your background comes. And that's also where know your roots comes from. In order to do poetry, you have to dig into yourself and like perform for yourself, perform your past, your history. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay, all right. That's good. So I was on the right track. I did pick that up. And that's interesting that you say how you were able to, that you weren't shy, but you were able to be more, more of yourself, or bring yourself out a little bit more. And I think we each have to find where that is for us, whether it's spoken word or what have you. And not just for the young people, us older folks too. We need to be able to find our voice and see where we can be first and foremost transparent and upfront in, but then also where we can help someone else. And I think that you're on the right track with that. So let's see here. I wanted to try and pull up what you gave me on yesterday. While I'm doing that, why don't you talk to us um, maybe about this Teen Creative Conference? Now, you're the CEO and founder of it.
Yes.
How did you even come to even think about doing a conference? Um, was there a need for it you felt? Did you see that maybe something was lacking, maybe with the young people, you want to try and bring them together? How did this idea come about for you?
Okay, so it's actually a funny story. This idea developed in um, quarantine. It was 3 months in, and me and my mom were just sitting down and generating ideas. And I was like, let's have a conference. It's needed because there's not an outlet for teenagers, especially ages 13 to 18. And now it's been extended to 21, but there's not really an outlet for creatives. There is a spoken word club, there is ballet, there's rap, but there's not a central place where everything can be performed in one place where you can get all that in one setting. So you can do multiple creative things. So that's what this conference is for. It's to showcase and for other people to embrace the creative talents, especially in the work field. That's where the adult masterclass sessions come in. They are there to show people that you can actually be creative in your field. So for me, I guess for my example, I'm a creative writing major, but I want to do law. So creative writing helps me formulate my sentences, help me formulate the paragraphs to be more persuasive, to add more of my flavor into the law process. So just that example can give other people and other teenagers inspiration to be like, oh, well, now I can do art, or I can paint and still have my job.
Okay. So have but then that's also, I mean, still opening you up to, you don't necessarily have to. You want to be in law, but you're not just solely in that. You know what I mean? That would
Yeah,
be your
yeah.
profession, but you have all this other talent, you will, if you will. And that's interesting because I'm just throwing this in as a side note. Sometimes when we are maybe have our favorite TV stars or movie stars or something like that, a lot of times with me as well, I should speak for myself. If I have a favorite artist or entertainment star, I like a lot of times to find out about their background or what other things that they like to do. You know what I mean? Whether it's playing the violin or maybe they came across as a spoken word artist originally before they, were off into movies or something like that. But yeah, so that makes a person more well-rounded. And like you said, someone else can look at that and say, oh, I can do that too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there is still that aspect of you also helping out people. So I love that. Okay, so you wanted to kind of look at the different talents that individuals may have. Now, were you thinking originally that I want others to find their talent or pull out maybe what's in them, or just maybe showcase what they already had, or all of the above?
So yeah, it's kind of a mix of all of it. So some of the presenters for last year, they already were pursuing their talents. So, like, for example, we had Jewel Baker. She was a photographer from last year. She actually does photography. Like that's her profession as she's going through college. So for her, it was just showcasing what she already had. Um, Another returning guest, Sakari Ali, he does art on the side, but he still wants to showcase it. He's still like, this is still who I am. So for him, that's like embracing his talent. And then who else? I guess for me, I did the violin, but it wasn't like I wasn't performing for anybody except for like the orchestra. So I guess giving me out my shell. So we kind of had all those aspects of people embracing their talent, people just being more confident, or just wanting to showcase it to get more feedback, more I guess more, I don't know the word,
What
the
do you mean?
experience.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I can understand that. I can understand that. All right. Well, no, this is great. I see you guys over here on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Monica has joined us and said this is a great vision. Terry, oh, made the comment. Are you saying are they watching from the Bahamas? Was that their comment?
Yeah, that's my family.
Okay. Hey, family. Thanks for watching from the Bahamas. We appreciate you. I see you, Apostle Hunt. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. Brandy, thank you for tagging individuals into this live feed. And all of you, again, that have maybe just joined us or are coming in, make sure you click that share button. You can tag individuals. Even from the Bahamas, you can tag someone into this live feed to allow them to be able to watch it as well. In a minute, I am going to check on YouTube and see what we have over there. But thank you all so much for joining us. We're talking today. Well, first off, this is the last season, or last show of the season, excuse me, not last season, last show of the season for Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I can't believe that we're at the end of another year. And so I have decided that on today, I'm going to feature two guests, and Ms. Clark is my first guest for the 12 noon hour. We're also going to feature Dr. Shirley Hill, Mo Faith Nutritional Services, at the 1 o'clock hour. But this is tremendous because on tomorrow we'll begin this conference that this young lady is a CEO and founder of. And I'm actually sitting here in awe because I'm sure it probably took you a lot to get this together. As you mentioned that you and your mom was sitting down, you were kind of, throwing out things to do and writing down what you could do. So when you came to decide that you wanted to do this conference, because last year was the first year, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about all the ins and outs, the pros and the cons, setting everything up, and what you ran into, because sometimes we can have a whole big old vision in our mind and even on paper, but then when it started trying to execute and get things, set up, it's like, oh, whoa, roadblocks here, roadblocks there. And then it's my understanding, because you're a sophomore now. No, you're a freshman.
Yeah, I'm a freshman.
So wait a minute, you started this when you're in high school?
Yes, as a senior.
That's what okay. All right. I don't know why I was placing you as a sophomore right now. almost, right? But so how was that even with you, with your studies and everything? And I know, with COVID, you probably had a little bit more time because we were on lockdown, but tell me how all of that went when it was time to execute everything.
Yeah. So the idea it's kind of, so the original idea was to have the first conference in person. Well, it was the beginning of COVID. So I wanted to have it in person. And then, of course, COVID got serious. People got on lockdown. Everything went virtual. So one of the issues was trying to get this conference on Zoom while getting more audience members, getting more people to know about it. And thankfully, we got over 26 participants just to be a part of the conference. So that's why we extended it to 2 days for the first year. And then for this year, it's only 1 day, but it's going to be in person and hybrid. So, I'm just excited. And then to balance this with school, it's actually not as hard as I would have thought it would be, just because I'm a balanced person. So I know how to time management. I know how to, okay, you have an hour to do homework. Now you can work on your conference on the weekend. So it wasn't actually as bad as you might think with a conference as big as this. But yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, that's good. You probably teach us all the thing or two if it wasn't that bad. So obviously you had to reach out to maybe friends or whomever else to help you to get this squared away. So how was that? Were you met with resistance, or did you have people to hop on right away with you?
I was actually met with a lot of interest. I explained it to multiple friends. I even went to church and explained it to some people at church, and they were ecstatic. They loved the idea. They think it was needed. And we even had somebody from London come in last year, and she did a virtual, she does digital art. Her name is Ella Smitzer. And her company is this Prince Barn. She does digital art on Instagram, so you can find her. So shout out Ella. We had her from London, and I thought that was crazy. Just like the first year having such a need for this conference. It was unbelievable.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, when I keep saying you can teach us some things, I mean, because sometimes you could get met with resistance. I'm glad that you have people that just hopped on board with you. That to me says a lot about you. It does. It does. It says, and someone placed in a comment on here and said, "You're amazing." They're proud. Monica said that she's proud of you.
Thank you.
But yeah, I can see how she is, and I can see, because you could, again, you can talk, you can plan out, and then you're like, okay, but I need such and such to do this, such and such to do that, because you're only one person. So you would need to have, some other people in place, and then you may give folks, oh, I'm not doing that with her. I could have thought of that myself, or something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that you had individuals that were willing to work with you. So talk about last year, the conference last year, and then let's segue into talking about what's going to begin for you on tomorrow, and Friday as well. Tomorrow and Friday as well. These days are going by so fast for me. But anyway, talk about last year, and maybe even some of the things that you would do differently from last year.
Yes. So last year it was 2 days, and it was a full day from 9 to 5 each day. We had about 3 to 4 different sections each day, and the section just contained about 4 to 5 individuals performing, and that was a mix of everything. So it was either poetry, art, dance, photography, and then the second day was 4 masterclass sessions, specifically for adult sessions, for them to speak to the audience and to inspire teenagers. So it was again on virtual and Zoom. But for this year, I'm excited because we are hybrid. So you can join on Zoom, and the link is when you buy your ticket, you'll get the Zoom link, or you can actually come in person at the Oak Park Public Library. The address is 834 Lake Street, and it's going to be on the second floor in the Veterans Room. And it's only one day this year, so it's on the 30th. So it's just tomorrow, and and it's going to be about 3 sections with 2 to 3 participants each section. The first section is going to be about art and performance, so like spoken word. There's going to be a rap, and then the second section is just again repeating performances. And then we have a masterclass section, and she is talking about being comfortable and showing your creativity in the workplace, in the works field. And then again, we have another section with performances.
Okay, all right. So your mom is a part of this.
Yes.
Okay. Which is, I told your mom, and I know I've said a number of times, I just love how she supports you. I love how she pushes you. She's like right there. She's like, this is my baby, whatever type. That's her reaction, or her actions are saying to me, this is my baby, I'm a pusher, whatever. But I think that's good because, I put in some of the verbiage of my promo that a lot of times we need to show support to our young people. Too many times we can say all day long of what they're not doing and how they're not, listening to us adults, what have you, and they're out here doing any and everything, but you're doing something that's really positive. And I think it's important that we all rally behind you. You're not out here trying to push and promote drugs or whatever, and anything negative. You're trying to do something positive, and you want others to realize what they have within them, and to bring this out. Now, you mentioned that you wanted to go into law.
Yes.
Okay, what you want to become a lawyer? What area you're trying to do?
So my end goal is to become a judge, but I would be a lawyer for the wrongly accused, because there are a lot of African American males that are in the jail system that shouldn't be there. They didn't do the crime, they have been framed, etc. So that would be my role as a lawyer, to advocate for them.
Okay, I love that. Now, let me ask you, did you have you always wanted that particular profession, or did that come about because of maybe all that we've been seeing lately?
So originally I wanted to be a forensic science, so something always in the law field. But I actually wanted to do that specific kind of law because of the Living History Project. So I've done a lot of groups. So I've been a part of the Living History Project since the summer of my freshman year, so 2018. And we just do research projects every other month. There's a presentation that we do. So, for example, my first presentation was on the wrongfully accused. It was about the prison system. It was about the policing, the police system. And then I've done about 3 presentations. So the second one was getting into the theory of killology, and that's just about why police avert to killing specifically African Americans versus just arresting them. And then the last one, my last presentation before going into college, was just an overall, it's kind of combining all of my research topics and just saying why there's an oppression and giving like statistical facts and actual reasoning behind the numbers of the prison system.
Okay, all right. You got it. I hear you. I love it. I love the motivation that you have as well, and looking to see what we are faced with, here in our society and in our community. We don't. I think I'm kind of like you a lot of times. I'm looking at, the fact that we do have a lot of our Black males or Blacks in the system, and they're not necessarily treated fairly. I'm also looking at how they got there, as well, maybe what environment they grew up in. So, it takes a lot. And I love the direction that you're going in, and I want to encourage you to continue on in that. And I can see you making a difference. I can see that. Even already, just what I know, what little I know about you already, and even with this conference, you're going to make a difference. You definitely are. I see you, Buddy Gill. Thank you for joining us and coming in. Regina says, I agree. If we don't support them, who will? I totally agree with that. Apostle Miles, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate Jamon, cousin Jamon, is that you? Hey, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. You guys, again, click that share button, click the share button. This is the last show of the season for Mind, Body, and Soul. Get Caught in the Net. I will be back next month, but to end 2021, I have my beautiful guest at 12 noon. Miss Clark is here, young Generation Zer, if you will, and she is the CEO and founder of Teen Creative Conference. And we've been talking with her about her and also about this conference. Just a little bit of background about her. We've discussed in how she even came to decide that she wanted to create a conference that would showcase talents of our young people. And I think it's commendable, as someone said on here. Brandy said that's commendable what you're doing. So this year's theme is Know Your Roots. Wait, what was last year's theme? Did you have a theme last year?
No, it was just Teen Creative Conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you have an actual theme this year. How do we come about with the theme Know Your Roots? Why was that impressed upon you to do this particular theme? Tell me why.
So I thought about it when I know I'm donating to the Oak Park River Forest High School Spoken Word Club. And I was really just thinking about why am I doing that? Like, why am I donating to this club? Like, what did they do to me? Like, what have they done to change my life? And for poetry, you have to dig into yourself. You have to know your roots. You have to like know yourself, know your history in order to be more comfortable in your talent, in order to be more comfortable as who you are. So that's where Know Your Roots came from. It's also in the background. So it came because in order to be more comfortable in your creative field, in order to be more comfortable just in yourself and having more confidence, you have to know your history. You have to know who you are, and you have to know your roots. So that's what this year's.
Yeah. Okay.
thing.
To move forward, you have to know where you've come from.
Mhm.
And I just paraphrase, you all know what quote I'm referencing, but you have to know your background. You have to know your history. And I think that this is an awesome theme this year. Will kind of, bring us, forefront, full circle back to where we need to be, before we can move forward, before we can, make a change, if you will, in society or in our lives. Deborah is here. Thank you for joining. And she says, awesome job. Wishing the best for the conference. So this is going to be a, what do you call it? The conference hybrid. Okay.
Yes.
So tomorrow you will be able to congregate with others.
Yes.
And now let me back up, because I've been meaning to ask you. So this Oak Park River Forest, that is your high school, correct?
Yes.
Is that where you graduated from?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I mean, I just kind of assume. I'm like, okay, she's doing all this for this high school. Maybe they were good to her. No, but no, that's good. All right. So the hybrid conference starts tomorrow. And I wanted to pull up your website too. Let me see if I can grab that while we're talking. Your website is phenomenal. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to pull this up here, because it actually highlights those who will be involved in the conference, and it talks a little bit more about it. All right, so let me see if I can share this screen here. Where is it? All right. All right, guys, let me know if you can see this screen. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let me move this down from my IG. All right. Okay. I hope you guys can see this. Let's see, December 30th and 31st, Teen Creative Conference. And let me resume this. Okay, I don't know why it stopped. All right, so it has here in this particular site, it contains the tickets, participant information, vendor site, and additional information. So check out the other amazing tabs on this website. I'm going to scroll down. All right, so upcoming events, Know Your Roots, which you see the background on her Zoom link. Okay, let's see here. All right, so we can register.
Yes.
And it has the times here tomorrow, December 30th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Is that for both days? Is that the time for both days? Or because we have,
So it's December. Oh, sorry. It's December 30th from 9 to 5 p.m. Sorry, the date is wrong. So it's just the 30th.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So then the location tomorrow, Oak Park Public Library, Veterans Room, 834 Lake Street in Oak Park. All right. So if you guys come to this website, which is, I just clicked on the link. So can you tell us the website? Because I'm going to have them put it in the comment section, the actual website where they can go. Can you tell it to me now? And I can type it in.
Oh, yes. It's Clark, CLARKEK 987.wixsite.com/1TCC.
Okay. All right, guys. So I am, as she's talking and telling us, I'm trying to put it in the comment section of the Facebook Live so that you guys can click on it and go ahead. You can sign up for it. You can register for it, should I say. And you can find out more information here. All right, so I'm scrolling down more. And it talks here about the board of the Teen Creative Conference. So they've worked incredibly hard on all of the arrangements for the live online experience and is proud to be able to present this amazing virtual 2-day conference to showcase every form of art. All right, as she's already stated. And it says, have a seat, relax, and enjoy this amazing experience. I believe it's going to be really grand. So here's her lineup. You have Ms. Clark here, CEO and founder, Cupid. Jewel Baker, she referenced her earlier, the photographer. Sukari, am I pronouncing that right? Sukari?
Sukari, yeah.
Okay, is one of the poets. And Jalen Sharp is one of the rappers. Jayana, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, she's the inspirational speaker. And then you have Talib.
Yes.
All right, he's a special guest. Alfonso is another poet. And a committee member, Miss Regina. Is that right?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. That's her mom, guys, Regina. That's why I keep talking about her, promoting her daughter. And I think it's important for us parents to do that. Let's see here. So looks like a little quote or saying from Sukari on here. But guys, make sure you go to the website. We want you to register. She wants you to register. We want to get this out. Maybe your teenagers, your young people can participate in this. Again, remember, it's hybrid. So if they're not able to go in person on tomorrow, they can still go online. Is that right?
Yes. So when you register, once you get the email, there is the physical address for the in-person. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, there is the Zoom link. And also there'll be another reminder email with the Zoom link and the address again.
Okay, wonderful. So you shouldn't miss anything.
Yes.
Let's see here. I'm going to read some comments, make sure I didn't miss anything, guys. And you guys are really throwing it in here. Okay. my thing is ringing off the hook here. Monica says, wow, great job. Oh, Regina. Thank you, Regina. That's why we need the moms to come in. She says you're a bit modest, dear. She said, you have done all of the planning, marketing, and communication yourself. The website was even created by you. See, thank you, Mom. See, I love this. Terry says you have heard the rest all year. Now you're in with the best. I love it, Terry. Yes, I agree. Let's see. Josh is on. Joe McCord, we thank you for joining us. This is another comment here. Buddy says, knowing your why is critical to your success. Praying God's favor upon you and your success. Yes, I agree. I totally agree, buddy. That is so true. So true. So yeah, this is tremendous. Are you nervous about the conference? How do you feel? Are you ready for it?
I'm excited and nervous just because this year it is going to be in person. But we are following the CDC guidelines. We will have a temperature check. And if you do have any COVID symptoms, please stay at home. You can still view the conference over Zoom, but please stay home. So that's more the nervous part.
Okay.
And then the excited part is just, of course, just seeing the conference. We have a committee. So there's about 3 members on the committee. And we have been working on this conference for about 9 months. So I'm just excited to see everything come to life.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Yeah. Well, kudos, shout out to your team as well. Those have been working with you and, for you to see it come into fruition. Yeah, I can understand it could be a little bit of nerves there, but you're going to be fine. You're going to be just fine. And we're going to pray to the avail that people will be responsible enough. And again, if you have any symptoms of COVID or anything, please stay at home. We don't want you coming out spreading, your germs. We can get to know you a different way, not that way. And this is why, again, she has set it up where you can view it online. Once you register, then you will be able to find, you'll see all of that information, the Zoom link, as she mentioned, you'll be able to get that as well. Let's see here, trying to make sure that there are no more comments on here that I'm missing. I do appreciate all of you guys for joining in on today and helping me to, as I talk with this young lady, I can't say enough how I just really met you. I met your mom, like I said, about a month or so, well, a couple of months ago now. But I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you're doing. And I only see this as a stepping stone for you to do more and to do greater. But with that in mind, tell me, what do you want to accomplish within these next 2 days with this conference? And then in general, overall, where do you see this going?
So one of the main goals is just to inspire teenagers to embrace their talent, to continue their creativity, even as they become adults, to continue their creativity in the work field, in the workplace, and then just to inspire for generations to come. I want this conference to be yearly. I want it to continue and hopefully get another person to run it when I'm older. But right now, as a like say a 5-year long-term goal, is just to keep inspiring teenagers, to keep promoting creativity, because there's more creativity needed now in the world than ever.
Oh man, that last statement right there says it all. You're so right. I mean, we have been we are almost going on 2 years with this
Yes.
COVID pandemic, and it's just been so much. Unfortunately, so many people have lost loved ones. So many people have themselves been affected with COVID. A lot of them, thankfully, were blessed to be able to come out of it. But it has been a couple of years that I don't want to say dismal, but it could have been that way for so many people. So when individuals like yourself or others will try to create things, maybe either to take our minds off of what we're going through or to help us to maneuver through it better, my hat is off to you, for doing that. This should give, and your end of the year, with this conference. So this is wonderful to end this year with something exciting like this. And again, to allow individuals to be able to look within themselves and see what creativity they have growing within them. Maybe they knew, maybe they didn't know. Someone may, come to your conference tomorrow, whether it's virtually or in person, and realize, that's what it is. That's what I should be doing. That's what I can relate to. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that that's probably some of the things that you hope to accomplish as well, not only tomorrow and Friday, but, as you say, going forward. So you being a freshman at Bradley, how has this first year been for you?
It's been exciting. I honestly love being off on campus and being away from family. Just to get more experience in the outside world, especially as a PWI, there is some experiences that you need for the real world, and Bradley has a place for that. And the clubs, the African American fraternities and sororities, they've really contributed to my experience. They have stuff every other weekend. They have different events to really get accumulated to the Bradley area. And I just really love my experience. I love my job. As I said in my bio, I am one of the supervisors. So I get to know the ins and outs of the dining hall, the hours, the days, the workers. And I really love my job. I love my experiences, and I love my classes.
That is awesome. And I'm actually glad that the pandemic didn't halt that for you.
Yes.
That you were able to experience. College is an experience. It is. And my heart was going out to many of you who were, preparing to go away, graduating. And then, with the pandemic, things were kind of unsure and uncertain. that God will give you all direction and as to what to do. And of course, first and foremost, to keep you safe. So I'm glad that you're having a great experience there and that it's not turning into, something really horrible for you. So let's see. Josh is one of the young men that I've had him on my show before. He's actually in law enforcement, and he has a comment for you. He says, "Good luck with your law career. It's a challenging yet super rewarding career. Blessings in your success." So Josh, thanks for that comment. And she thanks you as well. I have a comment also on here on Instagram. Dr. Joyce, thanks for coming in over here. And I did see you, Tammy, and TJ. Yes, I saw you as well on Instagram. Okay, Dr. Graham, she says here, she has a suggestion. She encourages you to consider mentoring others soon, she says. She said, "This is wonderful what you're doing," but she would encourage you to mentoring others. And she probably, I think that comment came after you were mentioning about maybe eventually you can get someone else to help you to run this conference. But I agree with her on that. You have something there. And I think, it being nurtured, I can't wait to see what else comes out of this for you. I really can't. I can't. So yeah, Dr. Grant, thanks for that comment as well to my guest. And I'm scrolling up, guys, making sure there's nothing else that you have on here that I missed. And I know we're going to be wrapping up soon because we have our 1:00 guest that we're going to bring in to help me end this season on Mind, Body, and Soul. So do you have anything else that you want to share with us? Maybe some last minute comments or statements, whether it's referencing the conference tomorrow or just in general or both?
Yes, so please buy your tickets. We still have tickets on sale for in-person and virtual. Again, the link, she put it in the comment section. If you want, it is clarkek987.wixsite.com/1TCC. And you can get your tickets. You can find out who is actually on the lineup for this year, and also follow the Instagram at Teen Creative Conference. It's also the Facebook event at Teen Creative Conference. And if you have any COVID symptoms, please stay at home. You can still watch it over Zoom. But if you are healthy and you really are willing to come to the conference, please come to the in-person conference on the 30th from 9 to 5, anytime from 9 to 5 at 834 Lake Street. And it's at the Oak Park Public Library on the second floor on the Veterans Room.
Okay, all right. All you West Siders, Oak Parkers, you all know where that is. You should know where to come on tomorrow. Make sure again to register. And of course, keep in mind what she mentioned. If you have any symptoms, we can't say that enough. Unfortunately, we've seen many super spreaders or whatever, but they're taking precautions. Your temperature is going to be taken at the door. Please wear your mask. Is that right?
Yes, please wear your mask.
Wear your mask, whether you're vaxxed or not. We want to make sure that everyone is healthy and safe. And we want this conference to yield positive results, not positive COVID results. We want to yield great results for this wonderful CEO and founder. I don't know what I was doing at your age, but I know I wasn't organizing the conference. Okay, but my hat is off to you again. I commend you, and I appreciate what you're doing and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. So I bid you Godspeed in everything that you go to say and do. And this shouldn't be the end. We need to try and make a connection where we can have you back on again. Okay. Yes. This is great stuff. So thank you again. Looks like my other guest is signing in now, but guys, thank you all for joining us for this first half of our segment on today. And thank you for your comments and your questions. Well, I don't know if you asked anything or not, but thank you for commenting on today and making my guests feel comfortable. Make sure you check out our website. I did update the website to make, and you can actually just go ahead and click on it. And Regina, thank you for saying that. She says, make sure that you share this information with your teenagers. Please, guys, do that, because we want them to be involved in something like this. Maybe they can find or their creative talent, from listening to this conference. It sounds like they have a great group of individuals that are going to be showcased on tomorrow and Friday. So you definitely want to make sure that your teenagers, your grandchildren, whoever they'll know about this and they'll be able to participate as well. All right. Thank you so much. Regina, thank you again for making the connection with your daughter. And thank you, Ms. Clark, for coming in on today. I appreciate you for taking time out. And I bid you Godspeed again and much success to you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. All right. All right, guys, as she's leaving out, I am actually going to allow my second guest to come on in. Dr. Shirley Hill is going to come in and talk to us about our health, our monthly health and wellness segment. You all did not think that I was going to leave you without a monthly health and wellness segment on this year, right? I hope you didn't think that, because Dr. Hill is ready and she is waiting. Let's see. Oh, it looks like she found. Okay. I'm just now saying your message, Carmen, but we're here. I'm excited. And Dr. Hill, I was just looking at when we started with her this year. I think we celebrated 4 years of the collaboration of Mind, Body, and Soul with Mo Faith Nutritional Services. I love that name, Mo Faith Nutritional Services. And I have benefited from listening to her every month. And I'm sure many of you have as well. And she's going to come on today and talk to us. I think she said about the benefits of fasting. And then there's also something else that she wants to share with us. So you here that are on Instagram, you here that are on Facebook Live, thank you. Don't go anywhere. We're getting her set up. And so I did tell you what the topic will be for Dr. Hill. But if you have any other health and wellness related questions or comments, please make sure that you throw them into the comment section. There she is with her beautiful self. She has to unmute herself though. She's here looking all gorgeous and stuff. Let me look on here while she's getting set up. Regina, you're welcome, my dear. Janice, thank you. Is that my brother-in-law watching? Hey, Alritas. How are you? Thanks for coming on. I see your name. I don't know if you're still there or not, but thank you. Brandy saying hi to Dr. Shirley Hill. Yeah, we're going to jump right into this. How are you feeling?
I am feeling very well. Thank you. Very well. How about you? You look very pretty.
Well, thank you. I was about to say so do you, honey. I'm telling you. That you sure are a good example to us when you come on to talk about health and wellness. You don't look broke down and beat down and all that. Okay. So I thank you. But you're gorgeous anyway. How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was wonderful. Anytime I get together with my grandbabies and my kids and the son-in-laws and all of that, then I have a good time. I have a wonderful time. So.
Good. The holidays are about family to me. Now, of course, my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, but that's because of how I came along and being with my family on that holiday.
Yes.
This year, I was able to have a blessed Christmas with my family. We were all together in one place. We took our COVID tests in advance. Everybody tested themselves to make sure that we were good. And, because we didn't want to, I wasn't feeling, none of us was feeling like anything, but we just wanted to make sure. And so that allowed us to have a wonderful time. I will say this, because I'm going to let you get started. Each family was responsible for one of the meals. And so the breakfast meal was our responsibility on Christmas Eve. I did a vegan breakfast and it went off without a hitch. Everyone enjoyed it. They loved it.
Oh,
Yay!
wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
That was wonderful.
Yes, yes. So I said I'm gonna try and incorporate some more of those because I found some recipes. Tabitha Brown is she's a serious vegan. And so she, so I, took some of her recipes, some I tweaked a little bit, but it was still vegan. It was still vegan. But it was great. So let's see here, Dr. Hill, you want to talk about a couple of things, right?
I did. I wanted to talk about a couple of things. This is the end of the year, and we are going into 2022, and we are leaving out of this 21 back where we started in 2019. Pretty much, with the hospitals filling up and with the infections and all of this. And if I may say one thing, it is not because people are not being vaccinated. I'm not for or against. I'm for whatever you want to do. Do what you do. Do you. But the reason is not because people are not vaccinated. We are, at every turn, we're being manipulated. At every turn. And so when something doesn't work, then we find a scapegoat and we turn there. And the scapegoat this time are those non-injected people. But what is being kept very under the cover and under wraps is that there are a whole lot of people. I get calls almost every day. I have been inundated with calls with people that are saying, how did this happen? I got the injection and then I got the injection junior. So why is it, how is it and why is it? And I am definitely going to talk about the fasting, because fasting is one of those solutions. And the church has gotten away from fasting. I'm old enough to remember when we fasted on the weekend, we fasted like, what was it, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? I know you probably remember your uncle them fasting. We fasted 3 days out of every month.
Yeah.
And sometimes more. And so that was one of the things that kept us from dying. Let me just put it that way bluntly. And so we, the church has gotten to the place where we're saying things like, it doesn't take all of that anymore. It doesn't take all of that. That is something that we don't have to do anymore. That's just a religious, practice, whatever the case may be. Right. And we say that because of a lack of knowledge. See, God, he puts things in his word, and he puts things now. There are a lot of young people and younger generations that don't even know that the Bible talks about fasting, because it has been removed from most of the new Bibles. Right. New, what are they? Translations, new translations. Well, Jesus himself talked about fasting. As he said, when you fast. So he made that statement in a manner that it was a known practice. That you fast. This is a known practice. It is not something that is special. It is what we do on a regular basis. And so then that particular scripture has been removed from most of the Bibles. And so, and then when you look for corresponding scriptures, then you'll find that they have gone from the scripture before, skipped that scripture, and gone to the scripture that is below it. So you don't know what was there. If you don't, that's why I keep my King James Version. That's why I taught all of my children from the time they could sit up I began to teach them from the King James Version. Brandy, them, they'll tell you. But one of the things that we were not aware of was that fasting resets, repairs, rebuilds, regenerates the tissue, cells, organs, organelles, and all of those things in the body. And it goes along with the circadian rhythm, which is the sleep cycle, the sleep-wake cycle, which is also the healing cycle, the healing process. And so there are things that God gave us to, these things, they ensured, absolutely ensured that we would walk in health, that we would not be those, because God said, he said that none of these diseases that I put on the Egyptians will I put on you. And so then in excavations and all of that, you know, where they went and desecrated folks' lands and dug up these skeletal systems and all of that, and then had the audacity to test them to see what diseases that they had and died of and all of that. And studies show that they died from the same type of diseases that we're dying from now, because they ate those that were buried in the Egyptian, you know, Egyptian mummy burial sites. They were dying of the same types of diseases that they died of the same type of diseases because they ate in the same manner that we are eating. So fasting to cover over the mouth. Let me do it this way. Is it fasting?
Oh yeah.
To cover over the mouth. And it's amazing that we have this Thanos that is happening now, where we have to cover over the mouth, which is what fasting means, to cover over the mouth. And so fasting in fasting, the body resets itself. And one of the most amazing things is that on the third day, it resets the immune system. It resets the immune system. And those white blood cells, you know, those white blood cells, one of the reasons why we're so coming in this day and age to that we have that's presented to us now is because we have a low white blood cell count. Yeah. If your white blood cell count is high enough, you won't get infected. Yeah. And so then when that white blood cell count declines is when you are susceptible to these infectious conditions. And then the lower the white blood cell count gets, the sicker you get. The sicker you get. And so then that cytokine storm that they talk so much about in the lungs and everything, that is because your white blood cell count that is in the war, that is fighting this infection, they're dying off. You know, it's like an army being in a war. And so then you have those that die on both sides. Well, those white blood cells, they give their life for in an attempt to try to save us. And
Wow.
if they're low to begin with, and the ones you have, they are being destroyed in battle, you're going to run out of white blood cells. When you run out of, now, first of all, that cytokine storm is because the immune system and the entity is waging war. And so it's waging war, and those toxins and those poisons from those dying cells, and then that is being released by the toxic entity itself, and all of that's going on, your dying white blood cells. That's too much for your respiratory tract. It's too much for your lungs. And so then now you're in trouble, but you don't have the white blood cells to help you out. And so then as they get lower, not only now you end up on this respirator, and I always say respirator, ventilator.
Ventilator.
Yeah, ventilator. Now you're on this ventilator, and guess what? Remember way back when, I want to say, I don't know if it was still 2019, it might have been the beginning of 2020, when I said that God woke me up and said, watch for something about the bacterial infection. Remember that?
I think so.
And I looked it up. But it didn't go far enough. I didn't go far enough because I kid you not, it has been this month. No, we just started December, that I really realized what God was saying when I came across a bit of information in my researching. And so, and I'm looking for a bacterial infection. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for something to come along with Thanos that would not be viral, but would be bacterial. And researching and looking and, trying to put all of this together, I came across the information that stated that that pneumonia that we were getting, that it was from a bacterial infection that was caused by the ventilator. I was absolutely floored. I was absolutely floored because I know what I heard, and I know I heard God said bacterial infection. And so I'm looking for something like Thanos, only that it would be bacterial. And it had nothing to do with that. It had to do with the progression of this entity and the fact that you end up on the ventilator, which causes the bacterial infection that leads to the pneumonia. And I said, if I had gone further and had taken a look at that, then there should have been another component.
Okay.
Yeah, it should have been another component, a component that protected the body and the lungs and all of that from the bacterial infection. It should have been something, because there was a missing piece there. There was a missing piece there. We had the vitamin C that protected and filled the ACE2 receptors, preventing the Thanos from breaking into the cell. And we had that set. That was good. Your body, it's got that mucosal lining, which catches the Thanos when he's breathed in, or whatever comes in the aerodigestive tract. That's why we have the mucus, all of the mucus, and that's why we're coughing out this mucus and everything. That's a protective measure. It's a protective measure. And so then that's why we end up with the vomiting and the diarrhea. And that was with the first Thanos Juniors. What do they say? I'm trying to think of this. I'm trying not to say certain words.
Oh, right. I got it. Okay. Okay.
talking in code. So,
The shot?
and
No.
so that's and so with the first generations of Thanos, okay, there the when we with anything, your skin is your first line of defense because it has the mantle on it. It has the mantle that God placed in the system. Well, actually, the mantle, the coating is produced by the immune system, released through the pores, and then it evaporates on the skin. It's really released through the sweat glands, and then it evaporates on the skin. Well, then that mantle protects us from anything entering into getting past that skin. But because we use so many things on our skin that dismantles the mantle, then that first line of defense, it is gone. And so then it passes the skin, gets in the aerodigestive tract. Well, then we've got this mucosal lining that entraps, encapsulates, and then it spits out, and then you've got the digestive tract, all of this here, your good bacteria, and all of that activates the vomiting. Everything is working in your body to try to protect us and keep us alive. And then of course we have we've got the vomiting, and then we have the release from the other end. We have that also. That's also a protective mechanism. You know, everything is working together to try to protect us. And then we get this fever and this headache. That's even a protective mechanism, because when that temperature rises, it tells the immune system to produce interferons. Interferons are also they're also white blood cells. And what they do is they stop the replication of Thanos, the entity. And so if he can't reproduce, we can't get new generations, we can't get new mutations, we can't get any of those things, because it has been, the replication has been stopped. But because we don't know these things, we stop all of the healing processes. We go get Tylenol, which stops the headache, which stops the fever. We get what are those things that stop the mucus and stop, stop the vomiting, stops I'm just going to go ahead and say it, the diarrhea. We go and get to the store and we get all of these things to stop all of these processes that are working to get the entity out of your body and keep you safe and healthy. And so then we end up with all of these things collected in our bodies. That's what these little tumors are about. These little boils and these little growths, those are protective mechanisms. They're trying to keep things out of our bloodstreams that's deadly to us. And so the macrophage, big eaters, they eat them and encapsulate them. And so then when we go and get tested, then that shows up on a test, and it is called a tumor, when in fact it is a macrophage. It is a part of the immune system, and it is trying to keep toxins and poisons and that will decrease your lifespan. It's trying to encapsulate it, put it in a sack, and keep it out of your bloodstream. Now,
I have a question when you get ready.
Go right ahead.
Okay. I want to ask something, but before I do that, let me tell you guys, if you're just not joining us, this is the second part of our segment on today. We're doing our final show of the season. Well, it is December 29th, so yeah. In a couple of days we'll get a brand new year. So Dr. Hill is on for our second segment. We had a different guest on earlier. This is the health and wellness segment, which we normally have monthly. And she's having her discussion today. She's talking about the benefits of fasting and other things as well. We always encourage you that if you have any questions or comments, to please throw them into the chat section. What we'll do is towards the end, we'll take time out to read all of those and see if she can answer as many as she can before we exit off of the air. So if you have any questions related to what she's discussing or any other health and wellness related questions, you can ask those on today. We always allow you that opportunity. So please make sure you throw those into the comments section here. When you were talking earlier about the lower white blood cells, my God, that just blew my mind. Brandy summed it up and said lower white blood cells, sicker condition. And I think that's key. So my question before I forget is, I want to know when because you mentioned about how, and Brandy did put this comment up, we're fighting against our healing. So if a person has a headache or I'll throw this in. I've heard, different ones who, they got in the vaccine, but they were told that if they start feeling, or if they get a fever, or if, headache or whatever, go ahead and take that Tylenol. But you're saying that that's going to work against. Is that accurate?
I am. That is one of the reasons why so many people died with Ebola. When Ebola, the treatment that they had, because I watched it very closely. And the thing that they kept continuously saying is there is no treatment for Ebola. There is no vaccine and there is no treatment. Yet the American Cancer Society, and yes, I have the proof. I still have a copy of the letter that and you know how long Ebola's been. And they're all RNA. I'm a pack rat for information and for research. Oh yeah, I keep it because I know sooner or later it's going to disappear, and I'm going to need to have some facts for what I say. And I have the letter from the scientist to the American Cancer Society that stated that he had found a natural plant that prevented Ebola from attaching to the cell membrane. Now that is the first of it. The virus has to be able to attach to the cell membrane. And so if you can stop the attachment, then you stop the replication, you stop the infection, you stop it all. And here this researcher is saying that he had found in his research, so evidently they were paying him, they had hired him to find a something, for this infectious disease. And he said that he had found a plant, a natural plant. And I said, oh, okay. I said, then if this is a natural plant, then I can find out what this is. And I dug and dug until I found out that it was spirulina.
Oh.
It was spirulina, that it prevented the attachment of the Ebola virus, the Ebola cell, to the human cell. And I'm waiting for somebody to say something. I'm waiting for them to because they found the answer. And they never did stop saying there is no treatment, there is no vaccine, and there is no cure. The first thing they did when those Africans, when those people of color, when they came to the clinic, they gave them Tylenol. Because the first thing they presented with was a horrendous headache. And so the first thing they did was gave them Tylenol. Now the rest, when you can find this yourself, this is not something, it's unknown to us because this is not the kind of thing that we look for. But the rest of the symptoms that followed, they weren't necessarily Ebola. They were Tylenol. They were side effects from taking Tylenol. Tylenol presents with a deadly rash. I can't think of the name of it, but you can look for, all you have to do is put in Tylenol and deadly rash, it'll come up. And so it presents with a deadly rash. Well, that was one of the things that, that was one of the first symptoms. And then after the deadly rash, and I may not have these symptoms in order, but these are the symptoms that they had. Then they would begin to, the blood cells would burst and they would begin to bleed out. And so they would begin to hemorrhage from their cells. Well, Tylenol is a hemorrhagic medication. It causes you to hemorrhage. And that's why if you're bleeding internally and you go to the hospital, one of the first things they ask you is, have you been taking aspirins, or have you been taking any of the over-the-counter medications for pain? Because if they have acetaminophen in them, then they are a hemorrhagic condition. And so then they'll ask you those questions. Have you been taking, whatever those medications are? And then if you have not, then they'll start looking for cancer, because cancer causes the cells to bleed out. And so then that infection, that cousin, near relative to this, to Thanos, the conditions and that caused most of the deaths was the treatment, because it was the wrong treatment for the conditions. And so now here we are today, and we have done, you all, let me ask this question. Please, somebody put in the comment section if I am not making sense, if you can't follow me, if you need more clarity, because some of these videos I watch, woman of God, I say to myself, what was I talking about? What? That doesn't make sense to me.
That's to you. Trust me, people, social media, individual folks on social media, they gonna let you know when they don't understand. They will. No, but then we're our worst critic. So you may look back and trying to say, oh, maybe I should have did it like this, but we are our worst critic. But I will reiterate what she just mentioned. If you are not understanding or not following, go ahead and throw your questions in. If this is something that you're just now learning about, because someone did put in there, is learning more and more scientific benefits about fasting, they said, that's what Buddy said. But if you're not understanding some of the things that she's mentioning on here, or any of it, go ahead and throw it in the comment section, and she can clarify for you. Again, please make sure you guys throw in those comments and questions, because shortly we will go to those before we end on today. But so far I'm understanding.
Okay, good.
I do see Regina has come back on. We just had her daughter on earlier. Milton Davenport, Gloria Gooden, Clark Gray. Hey, big brother Clark, thanks for coming in. Terry Robertson is on. Thank you for coming in, Angie Mims. I'm trying to scroll back up because I know some others came in when we started doing this second segment. But I appreciate each of you that even joined or continued on from the first segment. But yeah, this is some interesting stuff, because you're talking about some of the things we are typical used to, should I say, the Tylenol, the different things. We're immediately, like you said, when they went into the hospital, the first thing they would ask them, were they taking acetaminophen and all this other stuff. Those are things that we're used to, but it's working against us. So what I always have Dr. Hillin in my head. Trust me, I have her in my head when I hear of someone having a condition or something like that. I'm like, well, Dr. Hill said you should do such and such.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we have so many people hating me.
No, but I tell them, for their benefit, so that they can, get well or whatever. But a lot of stuff that you say is it's helping and it helps people. So, but go ahead, you can continue on, because I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Well, okay, go ahead. I'm sure this is probably, let me say this. This is probably interesting for you because you tell us the things that, you break it down for us first and foremost, and you tell us the things that we need to do, but I know you get a lot of pushback. I know you do, so let's just continue on. But we're here on Mind, Body, and Soul, Get Caught in the Net. So she's free to say whatever she want to say. Okay, guys. All right, go ahead, Dr. Hill.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, I don't want to unhook something that I might have put together.
We'll try to help you out here. Lady Etiquette, I see you on Instagram. Go ahead.
Okay. So don't forget our main thought today, and that is that fasting is more than weight loss. You know what? When people call me, text me, whatever, reach out to me, and they start talking about, I want to lose weight for the wedding. I tell them, I don't do weight loss. I mean, that's just it. I don't do weight loss. Now, if you want to do something about your health, I can help you with that. And then one of the side effects of eating correctly or making adjustments to your diet will be that you lose weight. That's a side effect, because the foods that we should be eating, they don't really do to us. Weight gain and all of that is, and I just took another bunny trail, didn't I? Okay, I'm going to come back to you all. What it is the fat cells being warped out of shape. And so, ladies, that's why we look in the mirror and we, that commercial where they grab those love handles and pull them out and all of that. That is because of warped fat cells. And that is because the foods that we're putting in our bodies, they warp the cells. They warp the cells. They cause adverse conditions and so forth and so on. And they also make us vulnerable to these types of things that are coming upon us now. And the one thing that we don't recognize is that, because we are exploited and experimented upon. Now we are in a vast, and so let me do this disclaimer. I am not saying you should or should not get the injection. That's not what I'm saying, and I would not even tell you to get it or not to get it, because I think that's a conversation you should have with God, and then get the answer from the Holy Spirit, and then follow the directions of the Holy Spirit. You can never go wrong.
Yeah.
You will never, ever go wrong if you follow the leading of the Holy Spirit. And so I always direct people to that. And my personal opinion is personal. But what I say to you is follow the leading, seek God, and then follow the leading of the Holy Spirit, and don't move until you get an answer. So, but the way that God made the physical body does that which nothing else can do. For example, and I've said this several times, and I've said it several times on my live, so this may be redundant to some of you all. But back in the 70s, SARS reared its head, and many people were infected. And then they got over it.
Yep.
You know, they got over it. And so then that was in the 70s. And here we are now in with this 2019, 2020, 21, going into 22. And here we are looking at SARS again, or we're looking at this entity again, another family member, same entity. I mean, same family name, just like Hill. When you look at me, when you look at Mr. Byron Hill, you look at me. When you look at Brandy, you're looking at a Hill / McCord. When you look at Tamara or Nikki, you're looking at a Hill / I don't know what her husband's.
Harley.
Adam. What is
Harley.
his name?
Harley.
Okay, thank you. I never called him anything but Adam, so I didn't know. And so forth and so on. Marcus, Hill, it's generations from one man and one woman. And so every time you see a mutation, you're looking at a different generation from the same, can't even say progenitor with this entity, because this entity doesn't have a progenitor. This entity did not come from a mother and a father. It came from the lab. And so, and you can find that too. That's what an RNA entity is. It means it has information, does not have DNA. DNA comes from parentage. And so, because these people, they had this encounter back in the 70s. And then when we came into 2019, we were being told that there was no natural immunity. It doesn't make it, that your immune system, it cannot do anything against this because you have no immunity against this entity. Then lo and behold, pop, people come popping up all over everywhere with some kind of immunity against this entity, and nobody knew where it came from. And so then when they looked back into it, they found that these people, that they came in contact with this entity generations ago, and generations 10 years, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so then generations ago, whatever that is,
Whatever
about,
it is.
about 30 years ago, 30 or more, even more years ago, they came in contact with this family. And so then because they came in contact with this family and their DNA, the killer T cells, which warred with this entity, beat it down to the ground, and then coded its RNA instead, because it doesn't have DNA, but it coded its RNA, and then it went to sleep and became a memory cell. And so that a memory cell for what? So that in 2019, 2020, and 2021, when this entity was raging again, they would have a natural immunity. That natural killer T cell that had become a memory cell that was remembering the RNA or the instructions, the genetic structure of this entity, that had it in tow, it would become activated, and then they would already have a natural immunity. Well, that doesn't happen with the injection. That doesn't happen. And that's why we need junior injections. And so that's the only reason we need junior injections, because junior injections, or the injection, the initial injection, it only identifies the entity that has been placed in the solution.
Okay.
It is not wide, it doesn't have a wide range. And then once you're injected, now your immune system no longer has a wide range. The only thing it can identify is that genetic entity that it placed in your body that activated your immune system, but does not activate the action of the natural killer T cell that becomes the memory that is reactivated when 20, 30 years from now, when you come in contact with this entity again. All right. So then that means that I've got to take an injection now. 2 months later, I've got to take a junior injection. 2 months later from that, or whenever there is a variation in this line of Thanos, whenever it's a mutation or whenever the antibodies lose their power. Yeah. See, and it's looking like it does that every 2 months. And that is why every 2 or 3 months, they're asking you to take this junior injection, because it is not long lasting. So it is, now think about it. It only lasts for 2 months. But we have an example where it has lasted for 30 years, when it is the immune system that is activated, an active immune system. What activates the components of the immune system is the fasting. It is the fasting. Yeah. On the third day, the immune system reproduces white blood cells. Now you remember the transition with the white blood cells that leads you right down to the pneumonia and death. Well, the loss of the white blood cells, well, on the third day of the fast, you've got all new white blood cells. You've got them, they're produced from the stem cells, because the stem cells are also destroyed. But in the fast, around the same time as the white blood cells are reproduced and redeveloped and all of that, then you've got your stem cells. You have your stem cells that give you what you need to produce the white blood cells, and which that Rambo and that killer T cells and all of that kind of stuff, those are white blood cells. And so then the immune system, man. Okay. It's certain days that the immune system, not the immune system, but there are certain days in the fast that the body, like on the third day, it stimulates the immune system. It resets that immune system. Well, those couple of days before then, it changes the functionality of the liver. And so the liver stops producing bad cholesterol and starts producing the good active cholesterol that the body can use to reproduce proper fat cells, and the fat that is needed for the brain, and the good fat that's needed for the cells, and all of those kind of things. Well, the liver, because we eat so much bad fat, the functionality of the liver has been changed. But on the fast resets the liver and causes it to produce the good cholesterol, the good fats that the body needs to rebuild and repair and restore itself. Now, this is just my opinion, but I'll have more than just my opinion after this, because I'm going to do some research on it. But I really believe that that's one of the problems with those of us who have wounds that won't heal. Ooh. Yeah, who have wounds that won't heal, because the cells of the body in that wound, they have to heal from the inside out. And it's the layers. So then that means that the body has to rebuild and repair or repair and rebuild those cells of those layers of cells in the body from the inside out. Well, those cells are, they have fat in them or lipid, they're pretty much basically lipid cells. And so it's just so much. You break it down to its lower level, you need to fast. Fasting is essential. It is essential for life. And now, you say, well, I'm 30, I'm 40 years old, and I never fasted a day in my life. Well, are you sick? Have you been sick a day in your life? How many conditions do you have? How many medications are you on? Are you living with these massive headaches? There's so many young women now that are walking around with reproductive problems. They can't produce children. And so then, not necessarily saying it's the woman's fault, because it could be bad sperm. That sperm could be, as an old phrase that we used to say, jacked up. If that sperm is jacked up.
Oh my.
And, and so we never think about these things. We never think about these things. We need to go back. We need to go back. We need to reconsider. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In 2022, we need to not do what we did in 2021. Resolution. The word resolution, I'm just going to say, look that up in the Hebrew. Because we break resolutions. They last for maybe a week.
Right.
Maybe.
If that long.
Yeah, maybe they last a week. But I will tell you, look up what the word resolution means in the Hebrew. And then how about thank you in that, because I know you're looking it up. How about
keep talking?
Okay, how about we dump the word resolution? Because we already know when we use the word, we already know that we're going to break it. We already know that it's not something that we're going to keep, that it's just something that we do every year. We make New Year's resolutions, and they should be named lying resolutions, because we know we're not going to keep them.
Right.
And, but when you look up the word resolution in the Hebrew, those words, those declarations, those are something that make you, that kind of give you a pinch, that kind of give you a kick. Let me say that kind of give you a kick on your backside. Every time you decide to break it, every time you decide not to do it, every time you decide something different, one of those words will come to mind, and they will come to your memory. And it won't be anything like the word resolution, because for years we've known that resolution means absolutely nothing. But we have got to make some massive changes.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I was going to do something real quick, and I want you guys to look at this woman of God. Let me see if I can spotlight her. As you're talking, I'm sitting here looking at this woman like, look at this skin. Look at her skin. And she's just not, let me see. I hope that did that good.
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking about you. I wanted to spotlight you. Let me see. Is it doing? Yeah, it's doing it. Can you guys look and see how Dr. Hill, oh, you know what? It keeps changing. I don't like this.
There's a reason for that.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But look how her skin is so beautiful. And, she was talking about, the fasting and how, your body what it does for the inside. Look what it's doing for the outside too. I know that fasting has definitely, it did something for her outwardly too. Absolutely gorgeous. And her skin just looks like it's just glowing. I mean, I don't know what she's doing over there, but this is similar to, I don't want to go to a hairstylist who hair's all over her head or all over his head and it can't look right. I'm gonna walk up in there, you're gonna do me? No. I'm gonna read Buddy's comment. You don't want to go to a doctor who, they telling you to do something, but they're not doing it themselves. Buddy had a comment. He said, I had a doctor who was clearly overweight, trying to lecture me about eating healthy to lower some of my levels and therefore lose some weight. He then asked me, why was I looking at him like that? But Buddy said I had to catch myself in my thoughts. So, somebody trying to tell you you're overweight and you need to do this and that, but they are too, you will definitely migrate or listen to individuals more when you see what they're doing. So I'm bringing this up about her for a reason. Look at this woman, we've collaborated for 4 years. She comes on, she talks to us about, I'm gonna stop my video. Maybe y'all can see her better. She talks about what we should and should not be doing. And this, that, and the other. Look how beautiful she is. Just look at her. Do you mind sharing your age?
71.
Did y'all hear that? 71. Okay. She has her three score and a year. She's beautiful. So I'm saying this for a reason, that she's just not telling us stuff. She's doing it herself. She fasts. She, allows her body to do what it needs to do so that she will be healthy. And I appreciate that. We're going to move into, if you guys have any comments, questions, now is the time, because we're going to be ending real soon. Brandy did post the link, as she normally does for us when Dr. Hill comes on, Dr. Hill's website. If you want to learn more, have more information about nutrition, virus prevention, disease prevention, etc., go to her website. You can book consultations. I always tell you, when she comes on here, it's free, but this is her livelihood. So don't come off of here calling her up and say, I need some information for free. It's not right. And I'm going to rebuke you for it if you do. Let's see. Latoya's on here. She said, I know I definitely have to change everything: eating, exercise, more rest. We want to grab our attention. We want our attentions to be grabbed. We want to change. We want to make changes. Enda is tagging someone else to make sure that they watch later for their breakthrough. I want you guys to do that. Tag individuals, share this. This is something we want to get out. Let's see. Any other comments down here? Divine says, what is Dr. Hill's secret? Please share. I know, Divine, right? And thanks for coming on, sweetie. This is something, we definitely need to. And I know she's going to get me, because they're all saying you're beautiful. I know she's going to get me and saying I shouldn't be saying all that. But, hey, it is what it is. You're an example for us. I see you on here, LaAngela. That's a pretty name. Thanks for joining us. She says, wow. So this is a lot of information. If I didn't call your name, please forgive me. I'm just kind of scrolling through a little bit here, but health and wellness. This is our final segment of this season. We'll start back up next month, but we wanted to end today making sure that we got in our dose, our good dose of health and wellness with Dr. Shirley Hill. What were you telling us about 2022 again? You want us to not do what we did in 2021.
Can we start by throwing out the microwave?
Throw it out, y'all. Okay.
Microwave. When you eat microwave cooking, even if you have, and it's, oh Lord, heating these baby bottles and we've taught the children to pop stuff in the microwave, and that is the first thing that they do. And it is the number one thing that destroys the white blood cell count, that just murders white blood cells, is microwave cooking. That you put in the microwave is going to destroy your immune system and your white blood cell count. almost ensuring that you're going to be prey at some time or another for this, for Thanos, for this entity that we have knocking at the door. You all have heard me. You know, I've talked about that sugar. Sugar, remember that vitamin C, I did say vitamin C earlier, right? The vitamin C, it fills the receptors of the cells, and you can go to any of my Facebook lives, just go to them and you'll see the name of the vitamin C's that I recommend. They fill the ACE2 receptor. The ACE2 receptor is almost in all of the cells of the body, which is why we had such a widespread presentation of this entity in all of these different organs and systems of the body, because of the ACE2 receptors. Well, the good thing about the vitamin C powder, and I'm going to say it, emergency is not what you need. Emergency is for dehydration. Emergency is for electrolytes, to rebuild your electrolytes when you've been sweating, when you've been at the gym. When you've been at the gym exercising and you lose your electrolytes through your sweat, that's what emergency is for. Emergency is not for a real emergency. We are in a real emergency. An emergency does not have what it takes for this. And it's what most of us go to when we think about vitamin C. Like I said, go look and see which ones I recommend. And I don't have time to go over all of that, but I will tell you that vitamin C fills the receptors on the ACE2, on that ACE2 thingy. It fills that receptor, preventing the entity from entering into the cell and infecting you. Well, when you eat sugar, you thought that I forgot where I was, didn't you? When you eat sugar, sugar is an antagonist to that vitamin C, and it cuts a cleavage. It cuts a back door in that ACE2 receptor, allowing that entity to go around that cell and get in through the back door. So every time you eat some sugar, a teaspoon of sugar, which decreases your immune system for 70 minutes, every time you now multiply that by, you use it during the day, you may have used 10 teaspoons of sugar, you multiply that times 70, and that is 700. And that's how long, 700 minutes that is your immune system is reduced. And that entity is given an opportunity to get into that ACE2 receptor. And so then sugar is an absolute no-no, along with enriched flour and starch, degened starches, all of those things that turn to sugar, they put you at risk. They put you at risk because they open the door that has been, I don't care how much vitamin C you take. If you're eating sugar, you love them cookies, those cakes, those pies, those candy bars, that ice cream, all of those things that you love and you think you can't live without. Well, these entities, they love it too. They love it too. And they enjoy it just as much as you do. And so, and what you are putting at risk is your life. And so then we have to look differently and change. Canned foods, they have in them those chemicals that prevent bacteria and all of that from growing in the can, cause fungus from growing in the can. So, because those are warm, moist places, and they don't grow anything in them. There's some cat in that dog. And so then that is the same thing that keeps those things from going in the can, they're the same things that's going to totally destroy your good bacteria that's in your gut that protects you from the Thanos that's at your door. And so there are just some things. There's no nutritional value in frozen vegetables, none, which is what we normally, when I say, do you eat fruits and vegetables? How many? Oh, yes, I have vegetables at every meal. I say, are they frozen or fresh? Well, I usually get frozen. Okay, then you don't have vegetables at every meal because that is now junk food. It's been blanched or cooked, partially cooked. It's been packaged. It has come to your door. You put it in the freezer and then you've taken it out of the freezer and you have cooked it again. It has no enzymes, which is why you eat raw fruits and vegetables. And so you need to increase those raw fruits and vegetables. That rainbow salad, I always see that rainbow salad. Some of you, this is a year in review for some of you. Those 3,000 enzymes that carry out the 7,000 processes and more processes if you are sick. If you have a condition, there is no reason, none, absolutely none, for you to have diabetes. And if you do, you have a diet that's out of control. And medication is not going to fix that. And it's the same thing with high blood pressure. High blood pressure, diabetes, several other things, they come directly from what you are putting in your mouth. No, it is not genetic. I don't care how they asked you, did your mother have it? Did your father have it? Did your aunts and uncles have it? They may have had it, but all of y'all eat the same way. And all of you all like the same things. And so then, and I always ask, have you had, is it genetic? Do your doctor said it's genetic? Have you had it from birth? Have you had it from childhood? How old were you when you got this genetic disease? And so then you have to use your cognitive thinking. You have to use, we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge because we give our health over to doctors and it is not their job. That's not their job. So I don't know, I'm not looking at the time here. So I think I'm going to say this one last thing. Okay. And that is what a young doctor said to me, year in review. Some of you all have heard me say it before. This young doctor, he told me, his mother and I were good friends. And he told me, he said, your health is not our responsibility. Now, this is what a doctor said. He said, your health is not our responsibility. He said, how could it be? When you come to us, you don't have it. He said, you've already lost it. He said, that's why you came to us, because you have lost your health. He said, and then you want us to restore to you something that you yourself lost. You gave away, you whatever. And he said, that's not what we do. He said, what we do is we keep you alive by any means necessary until your body can heal itself. Now that any means necessary is a dangerous thing because high blood pressure and diabetes, usually when I start dealing with someone that has high blood pressure and diabetes, most of them have got to the point where they're on 16, 17, 18, up to 20 different medications.
Wow. Yeah.
And then 9 or 10 of those medications, the side effects is that they reduce the effectiveness of the muscles, and the heart is a muscle. Thus, you have the enlarged heart as a side effect. It is not an outgrowth from the diabetes. It is a side effect of the medications. And so you're living on medications and you're thinking you're just fine. And you're not. They're just creating more conditions. You cannot get around a good diet. You can't do it. because those receptors on the cells, those receptors are what come together with the nutrients that's in the food to produce life, to heal, to repair, to restore. And then the fasting is what carries out the autophagy, or the renovation. After over the years and the months, we've torn down the body and everything, and it's looking like a little old raggedy shack. Now, when you go on the fast, the process of autophagy, or restoration, it will restore that has been torn down. And so then, but none of that works if you don't go to sleep during your healing cycle. You can put everything in your body that you want to put. You can eat all of those vitamin C foods, drink all of those vitamin C fruit drinks, not fruit drinks, but juice from the lemons and juice from the limes, and eat all of that. And it won't work, because you were not in the bed during the healing cycle. And so the body could not heal. And so then all it can do is decline and go towards disease and death. Those telomeres on the tips of those genes, they get shorter and shorter and shorter, and the producing, nothing, this switching off.
Wow.
And so we have to make a change.
Got to make a change.
And, yes, and thank you for being so complimentary. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's what I see. It's what I see. Guys, we're gonna be ending this session, but let me do this. Let me just recognize. I see more of you that came in on Instagram and also on Facebook, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Latoya, let's see, Khalid came back on. Nicole, Lady Etiquette, I see you. Dr. Joyce, TJ, Tamara. Let's see. I also see Colette Burns, Michaela. Thanks for coming in. Who else did I not? Angela. Hey, sweetie. We had her sister on last weekend, talking about their sister that's missing. So that was a wonderful, wonderful segment as well. But if I didn't call your name, please forgive me. I just didn't see it as I'm trying to scroll back up. I think I did mention Angela, and I hope that there was something that was said in either one of these segments on today that was beneficial for you, first and foremost, that you learned something. Again, we were doing our last show of the season, and I just appreciate you guys just sticking in with us, sharing this time on today. I didn't see, I was scrolling back up. I didn't see that you had any questions for Dr. Hill on today, but if you do have anything, maybe if she goes back and she sees something in here, she can respond to you. Otherwise, Brandy has, as we stated earlier, placed the website that you can contact Dr. Hill, mofaith.ns.com. There was a question that asked about about your products. Divine did ask that question. And so you can go to her website to get those products if you want to look like her. She does sell them there. And so this is actually the end. Dr. Hill, I understand that you have to get going, so you can go ahead and exit out as I am doing my end end of this show. But again, thank you all so much for sticking with me this year, 2021. We have some great things to get to in 2022. I want you to make sure that you stick with us. Go to my website, GetCaughtinANetRadio.com, GetCaughtinANetRadio.com, and that's where you will find everything that we are planning to do, our upcoming events. And, so I don't want you to miss anything. I really don't. This has been a tremendous year. It's been a year that, has brought some triumphs, some losses, But God has remained yet faithful through it all. Even as we see that the spike, it seems, has increased. With COVID, it's at one point it seemed like we were, coasting there to get to the end. But then it seemed like this has took another turn. But we want, hopefully, some of the things that Dr. Hill said on today will be helpful to you, to be able to make sure that you make a change. We don't want anyone ill. We don't want anyone to get sick, to come down with it, to lose their life to this virus or anything else. So please make sure that you do what you need to do. Your raw fruits and vegetables, make sure you're not using that microwave. A lot of things that she told us on today, different steps, things we can do that will help us to be healthy, and to live a healthy life like God intends for us to. I see you all on here. Mary Elizabeth, thank you for coming in. Many of you are saying thank you for another show. This has been a big blessing. This collaboration has. I do want to go back and to thank again my earlier guest, Kalake Clark, for coming in. This is a wonderful, wonderful young lady who is the CEO and founder of Teen Creative Conference, which is going to convene tomorrow and Friday. There is, if you scroll back up, there is the website where you can go and register. Please make sure you tell your teenagers about it. Please make sure that they are well aware of this. This conference is a way to display creative talents that your teenagers may have, your grandchildren, your children, and they can get involved and they can collaborate with other teens as well. This is not something that we're pushing and promoting something negative. We're pushing and promoting something positive that our teenagers can do, they can be involved in. So having both of these guests on today was tremendous for me, and I appreciate them taking the time out to come in and share with us. Thank you also, Instagram, YouTube, for joining us on today. We're going to upload this entire episode to YouTube so that others will be made aware of it. And I again, gonna get out of here. I was thinking this morning that it seems that I can't believe that we are at the end of another year. I know I've said that already today, but as I reflected back, and even in my personal prayer time on today, I was just thanking God and being grateful for being able to see this time of the year. I pray that you guys, Christmas was grand and that you enjoyed time with your family. It is definitely a time that we need to make sure that we spend with our loved ones and love on each other as much as we can. This time is like no other. Man, that's loud, isn't it? This time is like no other, and I don't want anyone to be discouraged by what's happening, but to try and make sure that they let me turn this down some, because my my jingle is talking over me. But I just want to encourage each of you. Take time out with your families, love on each other as never before. We never know what is around the corner, but we are trusting God that He is going to bless us and to help us in every way. So just be encouraged in that respect. And then when next year starts, I need you guys to make sure you stick with me. There's so many things we have in store, from the podcast to the broadcast. I'm excited. I'm excited about what God is doing. And again, go to my website if you want to find out any more information. Okie dokie. So thank you again for joining me on today. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And you guys, we'll see you soon. Oh, I'm sorry. Wash your hands. wear your mask, do your physical distancing. There are a lot of different guidelines that are coming out now. Some things they're changing, some things they're adjusting. I think you also have to, I think here in Chicago in the Midwest, they are saying that you have to make sure you show your vaccination cards if you're going out. I think that's going to become, probably is mandatory, but do whatever you need to do for so that you can be healthy. You know, I see some getting on planes and individuals getting upset with individuals for not having on your mask. Please make sure you wear your mask, whether you're vaxxed or not. So many have asymptomatic symptoms, and they may be spreading things unknowingly. We want all of you safe. We want you safe. So many people are dealing with this pandemic in so many different ways, and not necessarily, sometimes they don't know how to handle it. So let's be there for one another. Acting really goofy, and I don't know what you guys see. You probably still hear me. I don't know. But all right, we're out. That must mean that I need to go. That's what it means. All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace, love, and happiness.